Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. If you're just joining us, we've discussed Bronzeville Week that's happening in Milwaukee August 6th through the 13th, and coming up on August 20th, there's the third annual Fellas Man Up 5K Walk. And here to tell us more about that and how you can get involved is Matthew Johnson. He's the publisher of Fellas Lifestyle Magazine and the founder of the 5K Walk. And we're also being joined by Laura Otto, who is the corporate director for the American Heart Association Southeast Wisconsin chapter. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you both for being here. And Matthew, let's start off talking about the concept behind your Fellas Men's Guide to Healthy Living.
Wow. You know, that whole concept came, unfortunately, it came because I lost my friend. It was my father. So when I lost my father, I wanted to do something in his name to continue his legacy. So I published, and I'm publishing a magazine for my mother, which is called Girlfriend's Lifestyle. And this is our 10th year, but 4 years after my mother passed, my father passed, and so I started Fellas on his behalf.
Wow, pretty special there. And for the third year in a row, you've put together the Fellas Man Up 5K Walk. Tell us more about that. And I did mention it is happening on August 20th.
August 20th. The Fellas Walk came by way of me walking the Milwaukee River in the mornings about 4 years ago. And it was so beautiful walking the river, and I was thinking about starting this publication and how I would market it and how I would, who I would target it to. And I'm like, man, somebody needs to walk this river. This is beautiful. You know, you got the roar, the guys who are, and the women who are rowing down the river, the ducks are flying. It was really nice. So it immediately came to mind that I should have men walking. Come to find out, there's never been a men's walk in the city of Milwaukee. And then further research shows that there's never been a men's walk, period, anywhere in the country. So we have the first men's health walk in the country.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of the health disparities that men face, specifically in the city of Milwaukee, in just a little bit. But that's why it's a little surprising that there's never been someone to have an aha moment outside of Matthew Johnson to say, let's bring attention to those health disparities and let's give people, you know, that kickstart to exercising and changing lives.
Of course.
So don't want to forget about our friend Laura over here. The American Heart Association is just one of the many sponsors who have gotten on board with this walk.
Our first sponsor, so yes.
Okay, and talk about some of the other ones that are involved as well.
Yeah, we, you know, obviously, one of the calls, once the idea came about, one of the first calls, American Heart Association, because I knew my father had heart complications, and so I wanted to tie that in. And so I called the American Heart Association, and it was not even an issue. So we, hands down, they said, let's do it. And so then now we have Aurora Healthcare, we have the new market, the new grocery store that's opening on Water Street, Fresh Time Markets. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield, Milwaukee City, Milwaukee Health Department. We have also Legacy, Seaway Bank. They used to be Legacy, but Seaway Bank. And a whole host of other partners who are making this happen, at least 24 partners.
That's wonderful.
As a part of this. And I'm so excited that they're rallying around this particular issue when it comes to our men and our young men.
Yes, and Laura, if you would tell us why it's so important for the American Heart Association to be on board with a community effort like this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a no-brainer to partner with such a great initiative. It really is that mutual support that we're looking for to change the culture of health in Milwaukee is our goal. So our missions are aligned. For the American Heart Association, it's to build healthier lives free of cardiovascular diseases and stroke. And you can't really enter a room without talking to someone that's been affected, whether it's in their family, a relative, someone that they know from their work. 1 in 3 are affected, and it's the #1 reason we lose our loved ones. So supporting other walks that really focus on physical education education and physical activity and other healthy ways that we can change our action and not just talk about it, but walk the walk, if you want to put it that way.
No pun intended there.
Right, exactly. So yeah, it's very important for us. And we're also, the walk is taking place in Schlitz Park, which our downtown office is located. So we walk that river walk as an office, and it's a great way to kind of bring the community together physically as well.
Absolutely. And we know just from looking at research, and all of us have men in our families who are just stubborn when it comes to going to the doctor or doing those annual checkups. So this is also a good way to just really remind them of how important it is to just get in there, see your doctor, find a doctor that's going to kind of know your body and when something might be a little off. It's all important.
Well, the hardest part is to get them to go.
Yeah, I know.
And so one of the other partners that we have that is really a key component to our success over the last few years is the Milwaukee Bucks. And they actually, last year, they actually set up a full court right out in the parking lot, and where fathers and sons can play basketball against one another, and we did a 3-point contest and those types of things. We'll do that again this year. But that's a highlight, but that's the easy way of getting them to consider exercise. And so it's sort of like the gateway of the exercise piece versus telling them what they need to do. We actually invite them to come in and play a role in their own health in as easy as possible.
Yeah, and when you say exercise to people, it always sounds so like military-like, like I have to get up at this time and I have to do this. Really, exercise comes in so many different forms. So like you said, just shooting hoops with your son, whatever the case, your nephews.
Walking the dog after work.
Absolutely. And it is really, I think that the concept of this and how it continues to grow every year is wonderful. I did want to make sure we highlight a couple of the important programs and services that the American Heart Association offers to individuals on a daily basis. So if the ones that come to top of mind for you, go ahead and share those.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we focus a lot on CPR training out in the community. Our website, heart.org, is where you can find a plethora of information specifically with heart health and stroke. There's information for caregivers out there. Some of the programs that we do coming up in fall is we have our annual gospel concert in Milwaukee that really focuses on education and bringing something fun to it with a concert, as well as we have our Milwaukee Heart Walk coming up on September 18th down at the lakefront, which is free and really focuses on that community effort as well. We want it to be a very family-oriented event. We want to bring people together no matter where you're from or if it's with your company, if it's with just your family. So we have a lot of programs for education with our youth, and we also deal with a lot of our support network too. So we want to bring an online community together too for people and families that are dealing with maybe congenital heart defects with their children or taking care of a loved one that has been disabled by stroke. So we really want to be a resource for the community as well.
Yeah, and you have done that for many years, and just want to remind people that you're there and of all the great things that you continue to do to help people who have had health issues, but also people who just want to prevent having health issues in the future. Some statistics show us that men in Milwaukee have higher rates of heart disease, cancer-related deaths, homicide, and suicide as compared to Milwaukee women, Wisconsin men, and men in the U.S. as a whole. That is a huge statement, and so it just really highlights the need for something like this to be brought to the forefront and have people become more engaged with their health and exercise.
One of the things that we've implemented this year is that we're inviting the women to come walk with the men. And so the women will receive a t-shirt that says, "I'm walking with my fella."
Okay.
So that whole idea is to encourage the women to encourage the men to come out, because most cases,
Turn in the head.
when the women tell that man to come, he's there.
Well, what about a shirt that says, "I'm looking for a fella"? No.
We're not in that business.
But no, I'm joking, but there are women who are thinking, wow, hundreds of men in one place. That's kind of easy to find, you know.
Last year, 700 men. This year, 1,000 men. So wherever there's a lot of men, there are probably a lot of women.
Well, don't discourage the ladies who that find that as a nice one-stop shop.
There you go. All in the name of health.
And the whole
goal
behind this is to really build Milwaukee as a health community when the focus is on our loved ones, especially our men. But more importantly, by the 5th year, we want to be at 5,000 men. Okay. By the 5th year, we can do that.
All right, and all jokes aside, there's also statistics that show 46.8% of working age Milwaukee area black men were not in the labor force last year, compared to 17.9% of white men and 23% of Hispanic men. And these stats make men's health in Milwaukee a major priority, because people always think, oh, you know, heart disease and diabetes, but forget that stress and the job, you know, the whole concept of not being able to find work leads to stress, leads to health issues. And so all these statistics really do mean something. Mental
Health Association is also one of our partners, and they are focusing in on that very same thing that you mentioned in regards to trauma as well. I mean, trauma plays a big role in how we see ourselves and how we function as men to our families.
Absolutely. And we've got just about a minute, so I don't want to take the chance of going over, but you do have a water challenge. And we want the fellas to be up on that as well. Your website address?
Yes, fellashealth.com. Take the water challenge, go right online. They can take it right there online, answer the questions, take the challenge. The whole goal is not to drink any sweet drinks from August 1st to August 20th. Only water, and see what happens. It's going to be an amazing.
We call that rethinking your drink at the American Heart Association.
Rethinking your drink.
And you are what you drink.
Okay, thank you. And that is a great way to wrap up today's conversation. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Matthew Johnson is the publisher of Fellas Lifestyle Magazine and founder of the 5K Walk, and Laura Otto is the corporate director for the American Heart Association Southeast Wisconsin chapter. The Fellas Man Up 5K Walk is again Saturday, August 20th. You can log on to fellashealth.com. And for more information on the American Heart Association, log on to heart.org. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.